We'd rather sell it than move it in. The moving in sale is on now at the new Lloydminster Nissan. As we get ready to move into our beautiful new building on Highway 17 South, we're moving out our incredible inventory from the big blue building on Highway 16 West. Save today on our incredible lineup of new and pre-owned vehicles all under the roof. Get special clear-out pricing on all remaining 2023 models. We're getting ready to move in, so come out and see us today for fantastic savings on your new car, truck, or SUV. The moving in sale is on now at the new Lloydminster Nissan. We won't sell you a car, we'll help you buy one.
At Lloydminster and District Co-op, membership matters more. Because being part of a co-op means you're connected to something bigger than yourself. From long-held legacy by those who built our communities, to people you call family, friends, and neighbors. When you're a Lloyd Co-op member, you're an owner in a local business that prides itself on purpose alongside profit. You earn cash back, you help support causes that matter most, and you're building a better way of life for the next generation. Membership matters more.
Local people. Local news and events. Local sports. Local matters. For all things Lloydminster area, this is Live with Kurt Price.
Welcome to the Lloydminster Exhibition, the new Lloydminster Nissan Exhibition Grill. At the new Lloydminster Nissan, this is the final week of the moving sale. That's because the new Lloydminster Nissan will be opening up on Monday in that beautiful new building on Highway 17 South. You can still come see us this week on Highway 16 West, but be advised our service department will be closing on Thursday as they have a few more heavy items to move, although, transferring cars isn't real easy as well. That's why we like to move them. That's why we invite you to come down and save a whole lot of cash right now with a 2023 Rogue, 2023 Qashqai, or a 2023 Armada. Take $5,000 off a brand new 2023 Armada right now, and you can save up to $2,000 on 2023 Rogues and Qashqais. See us this week, the final week in our temporary location on Highway 16 West. Well, it is a real busy day here at the Lloydminster Exhibition. It's open farm days, and somebody said something about hot dogs, so I don't know if Paul and I are going to get to hang around enough to get those hot dogs, but we're definitely smelling them right now anyway. We're going to talk about Family Feud today. Ryan Savein will join us. I talked to him yesterday, and he told us what you can expect when you apply to be on Family Feud, if you get on the program, and how to go about applying to be on the program as well. Now, Evan Degenhardt is a local guy here, works at 1061 The Goat, and he has been on Family Feud. So he's going to come in, and we're going to talk to Evan this morning about his experience on Family Feud. Well, when you need help recovering from a disaster, you can call BioClean Disaster Services. Whether you're experiencing mold, whether you've had a fire, flood, wind damage, you can call a local company that will not only work to restore your home or your business, but will work to restore that family dynamic and get things back to where you were before the disaster and as quickly as possible, keeping you up to date along the way. Communication is a key point when you talk to their customers in the past, and being kept up to date can really ease that stress level. It's not an easy time by any means, but they'll do what they can. They're committed, certified, reliable, and very local, serving Lloydminster, Wainwright, St. Paul, Bonnyville, and Cold Lake. BioClean Disaster Services, 1-833-246-8326. 8326. We have our first Feed the Farmer winner this week. We're going to be heading out on Thursday to see Daryl and Lori Wright. We'll be heading out and taking a fantastic hot roast beef meal from Diamond 7 Meats. We also want to thank Superior Water, Richland Pioneer, BASF, in Vigor. The tent guys brings along tables and chairs and tablecloths. We do it up real fancy. Eggland is another one of our great sponsors. And we also want to thank Sobeys Lloydminster for the delicious salads. Their broccoli salad is very, very popular, and their desserts even more so. So we're really looking forward to it. You can still nominate a farmer. We have 3 more draws to make and 2 more after that for $500 Diamond 7 Meats gift cards. So get those nominations in on the Live with Kurt Price Facebook page or any of our sponsor pages. Another Chase the Ace draw is coming up here at the Lloydminster Exhibition tomorrow night. And it's another steak night as well, where you can get a steak for $20 here at the Nissan Grill. The deck down to 48 cards. The jackpot already over $30,000. And tickets start at just $10 each. You can purchase them in person here at the Lloydminster Exhibition. You can buy them at lloydx.com. You get all the details at lloydx.com on how to e-transfer as well. And you can e-transfer to Chase the Ace at lloydx.com. And you'll need to include your name, your phone number, and your email address. Plus, the password has to be CTA 2024. City of Lloydminster is conducting a commercial air service feasibility study, and that's in order to pursue prospective airlines and restore air service to the Lloydminster Airport after WestJet discontinued flights in April. Mayor Gerald Albers told us that will help update the 2020 Airport Master Plan.
We are just in the processes of updating our master plan for the airport and putting some information together. So and that was fun, and this is being funded now by the Government of Alberta. Thank you very much to the Government of Alberta for the grant of about $114,000 to help just update. What we heard when we met with WestJet, we had the pleasure of meeting with them in person. Maybe it's not as pleasurable as I'd hoped, but they gave us the opportunity. We presented a very informative package. They said, you might want to add this and that. Even though it didn't change their mind, they gave us a few tips, and we said, okay, thank you very much, because those are the kind of things that airlines, and be it small, big, whatever size you're looking at, are looking for, because they've got to do a business plan and those kind of things. So we're updating our business plan and what we see in the numbers and all sorts of market information, and updating the airport so we can go to those carriers and say, here we go. And we've had some conversations.
The first Air Service Lunch and Learn is May 14th at Startup Lloydminster. You can RSVP at lloydminster.ca/Air Service Lunch. This Friday night is the second installment of the Lloyd Local Series presented by the Lloydminster Regional Theatre Foundation. The Drama Addicts from the LCHS Drama Department and Barron's Court Theatre will be showcasing 2 festival plays at the Vic Juba Theatre. Tickets, again, are $15 each. And remember, they have that program where if you bought for the first show, you buy for the second show, you get the third show free. The Rotary Club of Lloydminster is hosting a Lobster Fest on Saturday, May 25th at the WS Stockade Convention Center. Tickets are $100 each, and tables of 8 are also available. We'll get you more information on Thursday from the Rotary Club. The Blackfoot Lions Community Fundraising Committee Playground Fundraising Association is hosting a pub night at the Canadian Brewhouse this Thursday. Tickets are $30. With your ticket, you get a steak dinner and a drink of your choice. For tickets, you can call Leah at 780-870-7329, and you can use the ticket at any time on Thursday, but the Lions will be there at supper with 50-50 tickets as well. Catherine Pollard told us they have come a long way in a short time to build this playground in Kitscotty.
Yeah, so the whole idea started like 10 years ago. Some of the Blackfoot Lions and the Ladies Club, they decided Blackfoot needed a new playground, but it really didn't take off until about 2 years ago, and they decided let's just go for it. And so members of the Lions and the Ladies Club and community members joined together to make a fundraising committee and really make a push. And since then, within 2 years, we are only $20,000 away from our goal.
It's not just a name, it is Superior Water. Superior Water has 2 locations in Lloydminster, and they're open on Sundays to make filling your Big Blue jugs a whole lot quicker and a whole lot easier. And if you want great tasting water right from your tap, call the Superior Water team and ask about Superior Water's under the sink reverse osmosis systems. 780-875-6636. I drink Superior Water because I like the taste, and I believe it is superior to anyone else's water. Superior Water, open on 57th Avenue, Monday to Friday from 8 to 6, and Saturdays and Sundays 10 to 5. Plus, of course, they have a coin-operated location right by 7-Eleven, just off Highway 17 South. We'll take a break, and when we come back, associate casting producer Ryan Savein with Family Feud Canada will join us.
The battle is on. The Alberta Hot Tub and Swim Spa Blowout Expo, May 9th to 12th. Lloyd X Grounds in the Culligan Water Building. 5 brands, over 30 models, 1 location. Fighting for your business with factory direct pricing and huge discounts. Save up to $10,000 on hot tubs, up to $25,000 on swim spas, 50% off massage chairs, plus cold plunges, saunas, and more. Easy on-site financing, best rates in the industry. The Alberta Hot Tub and Swim Spa Blowout Expo, May 9th to 12th, 10 till 7 daily. Lloyd X Grounds. Don't miss it.
I'm Brian Zinchuk of PipelineOnline.ca. I used to be a pipeliner, and I've spent the last 15 years reporting on energy in Saskatchewan. PipelineOnline.ca provides comprehensive coverage of light oil, heavy oil, lithium, helium, power production including coal, wind, solar, geothermal, natural gas, and nuclear. There's a lot happening in Saskatchewan's energy sector, and Pipeline Online is there for all of it. No one else comes even close.
It's more than just taxes at LNA CPA. Assurance, accounting, retirement planning, estate planning, business consulting, financial consulting, farm program support, and bookkeeping. But yes, there is always taxes. The team at LNA CPA is committed to helping you achieve your best results and will be there to assist you every step of the way. LNA CPA, with offices in Provost, Vermilion, and Lloydminster.
Well, as we mentioned, we have Ryan Savein with us. He is he's association casting producer with Family Feud Canada, and I noticed Ryan on Facebook generally trying to round up some guests for Family Feud, and thought, boy, this would make an awesome show. So Ryan, thank you for doing this. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for having me. The pleasure's mine. You know, I love talking about the show, and you know, if it means we get some amazing families on the show as a result, then it's all the more worth it.
So I saw you post in What's Happening Lloydminster, looking for maybe some Lloydminster and area families. Why Lloydminster? Or is this just something you do at the beginning of kind of every season sort of thing?
Yeah, you know, I think it's a good point to note that we love representation on our show, you know, not just from different diversities and cultures and backgrounds, but also from, you know, what province or territory people might apply from, or different cities that we've never seen represented on the show. So I was kind of, you know, doing a bit of a dig around, you know, Saskatchewan and Alberta, and found Lloydminster and thought, you know, maybe someone in Lloydminster or a few families would be interested.
Where do you guys shoot? Where do you shoot, and when do you shoot Family Feud?
Definitely a good question. So we shoot here in Toronto. So we shoot at the CBC studio, so downtown in Toronto. And our filming for this season takes place between September and October. So, you know, a prospective family would only be needed for 2 days, but that's kind of our general filming block for the season.
Hey, and how do you go about applying to be on Family Feud?
Yes, very simple. You can check out our website. It's cbc.ca/familyfeud or /familyfeud auditions. And then there'll be a link there just to our applications, completely digital. You can fill it out. Pretty self-explanatory, you know, some basic questions, letting us know about, you know, your family, where you're from, all of that sort of stuff. And there's also a bunch of like FAQs and eligibility info on the webpage as well to help guide you.
So if you do get selected, what's the first thing that happens? Or if you're interested in a family, does that family have to say, these are the 4 people that I would bring with me?
Sort of. I mean, when you apply, so what we ask of people is you apply essentially of a team of 5, but we also get you to apply with a 6th player as the alternate. So when you are filling out your application, you're kind of telling us who your team is, and then we'll go from there. And if we love your family off the application and we want to learn more, that's when you'd get invited to a virtual audition.
You get an email. What would happen there? What would
we actually come by your house with big confetti? No, just an email or a phone call. Exactly.
Okay. And that kind of threw me off a little bit. All of a sudden I pictured Ed McMahon showing up at your house.
Yeah, exactly.
with a big check. You get selected, and so what would the next step be after the phone call or the email saying, hey, we're interested in having your family come down? What's the next step?
Yeah. So the next step after the application, like I said, if we love your family, we want to learn more, we'll coordinate with you to schedule your virtual audition. So that is completely remote. You can do it from the comfort of your own home. If you have a team of your team of 6 and, 3 people are in the same household, the other 2 are across the country, we can accommodate that, no problem. And then we'll schedule a little one-on-one virtual call. And so I guess 6-on-1, but one of our producers, such as myself or someone else from the team, will spend upwards of or around an hour with your family, just getting to know you, learning all about you. And then we'll also play a little mock game of the show. Got to check out that game show energy level. And it's really a lot of fun, I'd say, for myself as well, but for the families who get to participate too.
Have you started getting applications from our area, or do you know?
I think, I've looked at Saskatchewan and Alberta. I think they're starting to roll in. It's a region that we always want more from, right? So that's part of the reason why, I was kind of looking in Lloydminster. There's never enough. We always want to see people from, regions where we maybe don't get as many applications or families on the show. So that's why, when we were talking, I kind of mentioned would just love more people from Lloydminster, because I think that would be awesome.
What do you think holds people back, Ryan? What is it? People out here go, do they think they have to pay for it? Maybe that, like, I can't afford to go.
I don't know if I've heard the pay for it. I think people kind of see the application or hear about it and think, you know what, maybe I'll do it. I'll think about it. Or I don't know if I'll ever get on. What's the point? And like, I get the hesitation, but at the same time, you never know until you do it. Right? We've had people who have applied on behalf of their family without even telling the rest of their family until they've gotten an audition, right? We hear stories of families who end up making the show, winning $10,000, $20,000, $30,000, and they almost didn't send in their application. We're not looking for the most like prim, and we're just looking for like everyday Canadians, right? So your family might be exactly what we're looking for, but if you just don't do it, we never meet you, right? So it sounds really simple and cliche, just apply and see what happens, but it really is that simple.
Is there anything you can do with your application to get noticed if you're one of these people who really wants to get on the show?
Yeah, I'd say first and foremost, something we look for is what we call game show energy, right? We want to see you're excited. You don't have to be the most outgoing or wild person, but just show us that energy, that personality. I think that's kind of one of the things. And then just be yourselves. We don't want anyone on the show pretending to be a different version of themselves. If you're wacky, if you're weird, wild, kooky, all of those things, just be yourself and let that show in your application, right? If your family is a bunch of blue collar workers and that's part of your identity, we love that. If you're a bunch of business professionals and, when you're at home relaxing, you're in your suit and tie, we love that too, right? So don't feel like you have to be anything that you're not. And I guess the third kind of point there is just really paint us a picture of who your family is and be specific, right? We get a lot of families who tell us, we love traveling together, and that's great. But, tell us some of those traveling stories about the time you almost missed your flight or someone got upgraded to first class, and really tell us those things that set your family apart from the other families that are applying.
So what would happen if you get to the point where someone from Lloydminster is selected and say, yeah, we're gonna be bringing you on the show this September?
Yep.
What can a family expect? How does that work?
Absolutely. So you'd be in touch with a few different members of our team. If your family were to be selected, we try to give you as much notice as possible. We film primarily over weekends and Mondays. That's what we've done in the past, just to try to avoid people having to miss work as much as possible. So if a family from Lloydminster does make it onto the show, we'll coordinate a flight and hotel that's covered by the show. So we'll bring you out probably the day before that we're expected to have you in studio. And then you come on out, have a great time in Toronto, and you spend a couple days with us in studio and go from there.
Once you get out there, do you do a virtual game when you're out there too? Like you mentioned doing a game, with the families on, say, a Zoom call or something. But
Yep.
once you're there, do you kind of match up this family would be good against this family? Let's
Not
have
so much, but what we do whenever any family comes in, we obviously do a bunch of stuff to prepare families, right? So, if I'm working with your family to help produce you and prepare you for the studio, lots of homework involved in watching the show. That's really the best practice. Again, really cliche, but the more familiar you are with the show, that can only help you. And then when you get into the studio, we do a bunch of rehearsals and practice rounds, on the stage with the lights, with I actually am one of the rehearsal hosts, so Jerry might not be there quite yet, but we'll do a couple of those run-throughs just to really give everyone that familiarity and that almost level of comfort with, it's one thing to play at home on the couch. It's a very different thing to be up there on the stage. So we're trying to really make it seem as natural as possible.
Well, how much would be edited? Like, would you have to worry about, oops, I said something I didn't, I didn't mean to say it. Some of the questions you see that. So how much would be
Yeah.
edited or?
It really depends. If there's like natural funny moments, that makes it into the show. We don't really have a lot of cases where someone says something that cannot be said on TV and like we'll have to like that doesn't really happen.
Okay.
It's more so, we film for a bit longer than the episode actually ends up being. But that's kind of, in the editing process, but anything, game answers and stuff like that. I don't want to say it's all fair game, but it's part of the game, and that's kind of the process that we follow.
Okay. Now, for families, then say your aunt is coming on, but your uncle isn't. Do you fly the uncle down too? Your sister's coming on; she has kids. Do you fly the kids down too? What would happen there?
Yeah. Traditionally, we just cover the travel and hotel for the 5 members that make it onto the show. There are extenuating circumstances, but for the most part, if anyone else just wants to come, that would be at their own expense.
And are they allowed to, like, is that the studio audience? Is that what the studio audience is made of, or is it other teams?
So the studio audience, mostly just people in Toronto who want to come and see the show, locals, people visiting, what have you. But we do get a lot of like family, friends, people supporting the families on the show, actually sitting in the audience, which in my opinion makes the best episodes, right? Like the similar way, if you're going to a sporting event and the fans are going wild, it doesn't seem like it would translate, but for our show, having, I remember there was a family I worked with a couple years ago. I think they were from Mississauga, which is just like half an hour outside of Toronto here. And they brought like 50 people into the audience with like signs, and they were going wild. And like Jerry could tell, the families could, it just made for a better show. And it was so much fun to be a part of.
So after you can do a maximum of 3 shows, right?
Yep.
Okay. So you would plan to be there for, did you say 1 or 2 days?
So we book you for 2 days.
Okay.
There is a chance we don't need you for both. There's a chance we need you for some of both. That's more so a game time decision. We'll kind of play that by ear once you're in studio with us. But we book you off for 2 days. And then if we end up only needing you the first day, you have a second day in Toronto to do what you want.
So where do you go to apply? What is the actual, application process?
It's you can check it out on CBC's website. So it's cbc.ca/Family Feud auditions. If you go to cbc.ca /Family Feud, it'll show you some like highlights and clips, and it also have a link. But you can go there. Like I said, very straightforward. FAQs, a lot of eligibility info. If you do have any questions, you can feel free to, we say slide into our DMs on social media, on Instagram, what have you, or by email. So you can reach me at rsavein@zone3.ca or familyfeud@cbc.ca.
Okay, unrelated to bringing people down to from Lloydminster to Toronto for Family Feud. Who are these people you're interviewing? Why are the answers not adding up for me?
I wish I knew. I'm not involved in that side of it, but I think that's part of what makes the format of the show so fun, into that we're asking 100 people in these surveys, but it's not what's the most correct answer. It's what's the most popular answer. So out of, 100 people who get surveyed, someone might be thinking outside the box. Someone might want to be different. Your life experiences and mine might lead to us giving completely different answers. So that's what we tell families all the time. It's not the correct answer, it's the most popular.
Yeah, I've wondered about how much time you give people to actually think about their answer, because it's different when you have 10 seconds in front of you to come up with an answer, sort of thing. So,
yeah, I will say it's not that long. It's about the same time you see on the show.
So Ryan, what's your best pitch to get people onto the show? Why should they apply?
Yeah, you know what? Like, again, I'm going to hammer home the cliches, the trifecta here. It's a lot of fun. Like the number one thing we hear from families, whether they've just, filmed their episode or episodes, or it's a week later, a year later, and they want to keep in touch, won money, didn't win a thing, they just have fun, right? Like you get to watch back, have a watch party back home with your family and friends, and that's something you'll remember forever. So again, I wish I could go on the show because I think I'd be great and have a ton of fun, but it really is fun, and it's fun for me too, right? Getting to meet all these different people, types of families from all over the country, and just to see how much fun they really have, it just makes it amazing.
So if you know somebody who you think would be a great contestant, you say, I know this family. This family is out of the box, hilarious. They're off, or they're just weird, wacky, and they would make really good guests. Can you nominate them, or does it have to be a family? Does it have to be somebody from that family?
I would say the best course of action would be to go to that person and probably say, I really think you should apply. Maybe give them an elbow or a nudge to get it forward. But obviously the family has to want to themselves. Maybe they just need that gentle push and be like, do it, like a friendly encouragement. But we've had that happen a bunch of times as well.
How many families do you guys need?
It's a great question. I don't even know if I know the answer to that, to be honest. It's solely dependent on number of episodes and filming and stuff like that. But I would always tell, prospective families, never let that be the reason you don't apply. Never let anything stop you. Just go for it.
Is there anything I'm forgetting to ask, Ryan, that you want people to know about coming down to Toronto and filming for a day or two?
Yeah, I mean, like I said before, it's just a lot of fun. It sounds like, yeah, of course you're going to say that, but truly it's a great time. And if you're a fan of the show, and if you sit on the couch and watch the show and say, I could have answered that question, I would have done amazing, I would have nailed Fast Money and won 10 grand that episode, show us what you got. Come apply. Let us know you think you're great at the show, and we'll put it to the test.
Hey, you know what? It just occurred to me. If you have a family of 5, they win $30,000. Is it one check, or is there really a family feud to, hey, I didn't get my share of the money?
Yeah, let's just say you should be really nice to the team captain.
Okay, all right. Ryan, thank you so much. Really appreciate you giving some of your time to us, and I hope you get 1, 2, maybe even more families from our area.
My pleasure. Thanks, Kurt. To everyone in Lloydminster, we hopefully look forward to seeing those applications come in, and let's play the feud.
At Jason Arden Associates Cooperators, we're proud to be a top-rated local insurance company that offers flexible solutions and expert advice for all your insurance and investment needs. We'll work with you to tailor your insurance specific to your needs, and we offer investment advice that always puts you first. At Cooperators, one of our core values is to give back to the communities that we live in. Thanks to the support of our clients in Lloydminster and area, in 2023, Jason Arden Associates has donated $40,000 to local nonprofits, charities, students, athletes, and other special events. How does your insurance company support our community?
How can you help support the oil and gas industry and jobs in Western Canada? The answer is closer than you think. Sell your scrap metals to PWM Steel. PWM sells scrap iron to Evraz, located in Regina. Evraz's #1 customer is the energy sector, building pipes and plates for the oil and gas industry. PWM Steel is your locally owned metal recycler and steel service center in the area. Plus, they're a strong supporter of the community. PWM Steel, your top steel supplier for Alberta and Saskatchewan for 40 years.
At Diamond 7 Meats, we work with local farm families to provide a high-quality product and a great selection for you. Try our mouth-watering smokies, pulled pork, roast beef, and more, made pure and natural with no additives or fillers. We offer custom processing, and our experienced team works for you to provide a selection of sausage, burgers, and jerkies made to your specifications. Take your grilling to the next level with a Yoder smoker. Complete the grilling experience with Canadian-made, award-winning line of House of Q barbecue sauces. We're locally owned and operated, and we look forward to seeing you today.
Welcome back. Wellings of Lloydminster is now offering 1 or 2 bedroom gorgeous villas for those 55 and over. If you haven't taken a tour yet, you should. They're gorgeous. 1-story villas, tax and maintenance free, and they're perfect for those that are looking for more freedom. Freedom to take a trip in the winter, not worry about the big house. You still have your independence as well. You can have a pet. You have room for company to come over. You even have a garage. The 2 bedrooms have a garage, and garages that are deep enough where you can have a workbench as well. Beautiful appliances, nice backsplashes, high ceilings, walk-in shower, in-floor heating, air conditioning, all to your own. Call Darlene and have a walk through one of these gorgeous villas at Wellings of Lloydminster. 780-872-8537. Well, we're back here at the Lloydminster Exhibition, and we are pleased to welcome Evan Degenhardt. Evan is the general manager at 1061 The Goat, and he's given us some of his time today to talk about his experience on Family Feud. So, Evan, thanks for being here.
Kurt, when you reached out and you said, hey, we're talking Family Feud, I was like, I have to. Even though it was 3 years ago, I'm going to milk that train. I'm going to milk it until nobody calls me anymore. So thanks for keeping the fire burning on the Family Feud side, man.
Are you like a Family Feud fanatic? Like you watch every episode now because you were on it?
Yeah, well, that and you would remember the old Sega Genesis.
Yeah.
One of the first game consoles. It had a Family Feud game. And so at family events, I can remember when I was 4, 5, 6, we would bring out the Family Feud game, and our families would split up in the living room, and we would play this sucker, and it was terrible graphics, and it caused so many fights amongst our family.
It really was a feud.
It was a feud, man. It was a tradition, and from that moment, we would just do games in the house, all that kind of stuff. So when Family Feud announced that he was coming to Canada, that was a goal for our families to try to get on this sucker.
Now, you guys applied for a reason. Tell us why. You guys had it, like, you wanted to go on there for someone else.
Yeah, our grandmother, it was us and a bunch of first cousins. So we decided as a group we were going to be the Prairie Cousins. We came from all over, because normally when you watch the show, they're from St. Albert, or they're from Lloydminster, or they're from Mississauga, whatever. But we were from St. Albert, Lloyd, Saskatoon, Esterhazy, Regina, just a bunch of first cousins. And we were doing it for our grandma. We were doing it for her. She was 93 at the time. And we knew that she loved the show, and she had great memories of us downstairs in the basement at houses. So we just, we said, we're going to do it for Grandma Annie. We're going to get on the show, and we're going to dedicate it to her. And that was the whole goal of us, our 5 first cousins. And that's what we set out to do. So.
How much did she love that?
Oh, it was probably a highlight for her. She's passed now. She passed away this year. She was 97. I mean, she lived a great life, but
we could all be so lucky.
Oh, yeah. Thinking about her, it makes me smile, because she had the newspaper clippings. She had the TV on in the home with her friends, and they got together and they made a thing of it. And I'm sure it was special for her at 93 at the time to see her grandkids up on the TV, having some fun, hamming it up, and representing the way that she would want her family to be represented on national television. I would hope that we made her proud. I know we did.
So when you guys were applying, were you like, yeah, let's go on there, this is going to be fun, or you're like, they won't pick us anyway?
I think we went in with zero expectation, because then you're not going to get let down, right? Like if you just go in with zero expectations, whatever happens, we'll put this piece together, we'll do the audition tape, and then if we don't get a call back, we don't get a call back. It was a ton of fun. So that's how we approached it, and I think because we were so nonchalant about it, and we just were having fun with ourselves, that's why we started to get the calls back from the producers. And it was a lengthy thing to go through. And actually, we applied in 2019, and then we all know what happened in 2020. Not going to get into that. And they kind of paused bringing in families from outside the Greater Toronto area because nobody could travel. So we went through the whole process once, and then right at the end, we were right about to kind of get that call, yea or nay. And the producer called us and said, not going to happen this year, but would you like to be on a short list of families that we call when we open this thing back up? You'd, of course, have to reapply, do the production piece again, and see if this lands. So we said, yeah, keep us on the list. And then in 2021, things kind of opened up a little bit, and a producer called us and said, hey, you're on a short list. We've done a bunch of stuff with this family. You guys were great. You think about putting your name in the hat again? So we did, and went through that process for a couple of months, and they flew us out to Toronto, and 3-day stint there, all expenses paid, and had a little fun at the CBC studios with Jerry D.
What was the production tape like? How did you guys put that together, being that you were in different cities?
Yeah, it's funny. Family Feud brings Canadians together, I think. It brings families together, and there's traditions across the board. We all decided to go to Saskatoon one weekend, and as a family, record some stuff. So even if we didn't get together, it was a a weekend where we just got to be a family, when in 2021 that really hadn't happened for a couple of years. So it gave us an opportunity to be together again and have some fun. We cut some videos. Some family members couldn't make it, so they would do their part and mail it in. And then one of our cousins, Sherry, the team captain, without her, we wouldn't have done any of it. She was the key organizer. Like, you need to have a type A person to get the deadlines and get it rolling, because without her, we wouldn't have been there. So shout out Sherry, but she put the video all together, and it was just us doing some cheesy workouts, cheesy music, fighting each other, hamming it up, answering questions, lifting weights. It was just, it was what it was. But we branded ourselves from the beginning as the Prairie Cousins, and we need that representation in Toronto. We need out west in the big GTA. So they looked at us and they just said, okay, let's get these cousins on there, I think.
I think a lot of people were surprised that Family Feud is looking in this area, but you're not. You're not at all surprised.
I'm not at all surprised, because when you think about it, it's filmed in Toronto. How many families would be in the GTA? Mississauga, Brampton, and all these places. And I think as an audience, you probably get tired of watching the same East Coast family. So bringing the people from Nova Scotia, bringing the people from Lloydminster, Regina, or Saskatoon, let's freshen it up. Let's get a good representation of what this country's about. So no surprise whatsoever when you messaged me and said, hey, we've got some producers reaching out in our area. I'm glad they are, because if you're thinking about doing this thing, I would 110% recommend getting your family together and applying for this thing.
So when you guys flew out, what take us through that? You fly out there. I assume they flew you out from Edmonton or Saskatoon.
Yeah, we all met in Saskatoon. We all flew out together as a family. We landed, and I remember that was the first time I had traveled anywhere in probably 2 years. You get off the plane, you're in an airport again for the first time, and the Jays game was just getting out. And there was probably 3,000 people on the streets of Toronto, and you're just like, this is what it feels like to be human again. It was awesome, man. The sights, the smells. They put us up in a hotel, and then that next morning we had to be ready for casting calls at 7:30. So fully docked up in your clothes that they approved, and everybody's got their matching outfits, and everybody's ready to go.
They approved, like
yeah. So ahead of time, we had to determine what we were going to wear, what the color scheme was going to be, send pictures into the producers. They said, yeah, that looks good, guys. Make sure you bring that, and maybe bring a spare outfit with you in case you sweat a lot, which I'll get into it. I sweat a lot, and it was lights and sounds, and everybody was dialed in, and there was probably 12 other families there at 7:30. And then the producers just start putting families together, looking at chemistry, taking you through kind of the rules of the game, because people forget, yeah, you're on TV, but you still got to play the game. You got to know what Family Feud is. And some people go on thinking, I'll just be on TV, I'll answer a couple of questions. You got to be dialed in, like you are playing Family Feud. You got to know the process. You got to know how these rules work, when to hit the buzzer, what it looks like in overtime if it happens, right? Death, all that kind of stuff. So they go through the rules and regs, get everybody juiced up, jacked up. Then they just start pitting families together and recording it. So on TV, you would see a 23-minute episode. But I would say on average, while we were there that first day, it took about 45 minutes to 50 minutes to record.
Just to record one of the games.
One of the games that you would see on TV.
Okay.
So the first time that hit me was when we got up to finally do our thing. We had been in the back for about 12 hours. We didn't get on to record until about 6 o'clock.
You're there 12 hours.
12 hours just like ready to go when they called you. Dialed up, energy right up to here. Could it be us next? I don't know. Let's just like keep each other going. So in a little cubicle at the CBC, me and my 4 first cousins there for 12 hours in our best dress suits, trying to keep it together. And I remember when the producer came out finally and said, hey, Degenhardt family, you guys are up next. We were jacked. And then I put my hands up and I was fist pumping, and he said to me, hey, we're gonna have to do something about that. I was like, what do you mean? And I looked up and I had teacups, man, because I was wearing a gray shirt. I'd been there for 12 hours. I was sweating like a dog. And he said, did you bring any deodorant? I'm like, well, yeah, I don't think it's going to help me now, though. This thing's soaking wet, dude. What are we going to do? He's like, well, go to the bathroom, get some paper towel, figure it out. So that's what I did.
So it's up to you. Like, go do this.
Figure, like, try to do something, right? Dab yourself off a little bit. And that's what I did. And I forgot. I was so jacked to get out there for the first episode, Kurt, that I still had the paper towel in my armpits for the first episode. And somebody called me out on it because they shared a picture of us. We had got a good answer and we'd figured it out. And I jumped, but I jumped with my arms tucked like this because I didn't want any of the paper towel to spill out. I didn't want anybody to see the sweat. And so there's a bunch of people online, they're like, why is he jumping like that? But I just straight up vertically just jumped like this. And then afterwards, the family was like, hey, like, how come you weren't doing like high fives? What's up? I'm like, I still got the paper towel rolls in my armpits, man. So that was in itself hilarious. I mean, it wouldn't have happened any other way. Of course, it happened to the Degenhardt family like that. That's just how we roll.
Yeah.
We ended up winning the first game. It was epic. Got a second game, won that one. Got a third game, won that one. So we did fast money 3 times.
You can do a maximum of 3 times.
Yeah,
right?
that's it. So we went undefeated in the regular game and didn't win fast money once. So it was like we had an amazing time, but got shut out. And I got to do fast money once, and that'll live online forever.
You can watch it online yet?
You can, yeah. There's some YouTube clips, and every once in a while they'll throw it on TikTok. I had a couple of flubs. I had an X moment where I let the family down. Redemption later.
Like you guessed wrong, or you just didn't guess?
Oh, I got buzzed out. Like Jerry D's standing in front of you, all the lights, cameras, everybody's on there, and he asks you the question, and you're like, Then they move on to the next person, and the audience is like, oh. Your family's like, come on, why did we bring this guy with us, right? Like, so I had one of those moments, and the question that got me on Fast Money was, I'll ask you, something you see in a change room. Time's
hand dryer.
Hand dryer. Okay, yeah. I said jockstrap. 0.
0?
And I was like, well, I played hockey growing up, so of course that's what. But number 1 answer, mirror.
Yes.
Second answer, locker, right? So like in the moment, your head's thinking my personal experience, but you can't. In Family Feud, you got to be thinking about the 100 people that they survey.
And the weirdos they ask the questions.
Right, because there's some weird questions out there, man. And maybe you get a 1 or a 2, but we were close. I think in all 3 games we had like 186 points. You need 200 for the 10K. So all in all, 3-day trip to Toronto paid for, meals included every day, lifetime of memories. And I think we all ended up, because you get money for the points you make during the game. I think we all ended up getting $523 Canadian.
Hey, that's pretty good. Plus a trip to, and you didn't win any of the fast money.
Didn't win fast money. Got $500 in the pocket. Trip to Toronto covered.
Yeah.
And an absolute amazing memory for 3 days with my first cousins. And I got the group chat going right now. I said, hey guys, I'm gonna go talk Family Feud. They're like, that's awesome. We talk every day still. That was a bonding experience that will never ever be topped, I think.
I think families that are applying need to know that. Like, it draws you closer together, too.
It's still. So 3 years later, I had a relationship with these people, but now it's 10 times different.
That's something.
Like, they know me more than maybe some of my best friends would know.
Yeah.
Right? Like my cousin Joe, who was the only other guy there, he's not working there anymore, but he was in the potash mines, just outside Esterhazy. Those are long days. Those are long hours. And him and I would just, on his trips back home, when he would drive to and from work, we would just call each other and talk about things. And we still do that. Yeah. And Family Feud brought that connection. So you had the producer on earlier and me here now. If you're thinking about having some fun, putting yourself out there a little bit and making some memories, what's the worst that could happen? You apply and you don't get in, but you still had a great time with your family.
Yeah.
Isn't that what it's all about, I think?
We had a chance to interview Jerry D. We talked to him on the Tuesday Night Sports Show over the phone. I can say he seemed like a very genuine guy. You met him face to face. What's Jerry D like?
Exactly what you would expect. Exactly like what you would expect. One of the hardest working guys I've ever seen. Because I don't think people realize, like I said, we showed up at 7:30 and he was rolling tape until 7 o'clock that night. So he's filming in a 3-day span, 20 episodes. So he's got to be dialed in, Kurt, from 7 in the morning till 7 at night, and he's the host. He's the glue. If he's not on, or if he's not making people feel comfortable, what do you have?
Yeah.
Right? So when the producers would say cut, or we would change something out, or there would be a pause between episodes, he'd come over to the families and he'd just say, hey, how you doing? This is awesome. Thanks for this. Oh, he'd mingle with us. And he came up to us afterwards because we did 3 episodes with him. He signed the final Fast Money card for us. And he went up to all of us and he just said, you guys were a riot. Thanks for making my job easier. Like, best of luck to you. Sorry you didn't win the 10K any of the times you tried.
Yeah.
But he was just so gracious and grateful for us being there. And isn't that what being Canadian is all about right there, right?
It sure is. You said something, you said, like, it took like 45 minutes to film each thing.
Yeah.
What do they do with, like, okay, like, are you talking like there's like maybe a mess up, so they ditch that question and they don't even use that question, sort of thing, and they reset the board? Like what are they?
Yeah, it could be a combo of a bunch of things.
Did you guys have that happen?
Yeah, totally. I mean, I feel like there was one episode where it just flowed. Both families were bringing it. Both questions were flowing, and so that was good. The least amount of stops I think they're trying for, because they want to keep the cadence of the game going.
Right.
Not too many edits, but yeah, for sure. There could be a moment where you buzz too quickly, or you say something to a family member and they have to stop down, or in the case we were playing one of the families and they had asked a question out of turn. So it negates the whole round. Start fresh, points go off the board, because it's rules and regs, and they're trying to keep it fair for all families.
There's a lot of money involved
Lots of money involved. So they keep it fair. It would be like if you were watching an NHL game and somebody does something a little bit out of the ordinary or against the rules. Stop, reset, you don't get the points, completely new question, everybody get geared up and going again. And you got to remember, too, you're on TV. So Jerry D asks you a question, dial it up, man. Don't just be, oh, I think it's hot dogs, Jerry.
Yeah.
Right? So the producer in his ear would say something like, cut, Jerry asked that question again. And then a producer on the stage would come over and say, hey, like, bring it.
Bring
Like,
it.
you're going to need to get the energy level up.
Right.
So they would do that to families, and we would all be watching these families, right? We're in our cubicles watching these two families go head to head. So I think what we picked up after watching 10 families go before us, we picked up a little bit of, I guess.
We're going to be characters here, guys.
Right. Let's deal it up. Let's dial it up. Bring the energy the whole time. One of the producers said to us, when you bring the energy, the game tends to go your way for whatever reason, because the audience feeds off of you, the juices get flowing. You actually start thinking a little bit more differently than you would if you were tight and anxious. So the moment we kind of let it go and started having fun with it, it just kept coming our way. We would get the answers, we'd be dialing it in, we'd be jumping up and down, high-fiving each other, and it just felt like the whole thing was meant to be, honestly. But I think it's because we brought it.
So when you said, like, they'd stop you if the family started talking, so somebody whisper, hey, say this?
Yeah, you can't.
Can't do that.
Right, because
then they catch it and,
yeah.
Oh, wait a minute.
You're Jerry D, you're coming up to me, and all of a sudden here's a little whisper down the line of one of my family members trying to coach me on something. No, that's no-fly zone.
Ditch the question.
That's it.
Start again.
Yeah, that's cheating. You can't, like, you're in the moment, it's you. You can huddle when the other team's got the questions. You can definitely huddle and talk about what you think the answer might be.
Right.
But when you're dialed in and your team has the ball, nobody's talking to anybody.
How about shouts from the audience? Like, does anybody yell, like, this is the answer? Like, you know.
They coach the audience, too, because
Oh,
that
yeah.
also would be something that would be an advantage to the other team, right? So they're trying to keep it as even as possible. Like you said, you could win 10K 3 times in a row. You could win 30K, you walk through that place. It's a lot of money to a lot of people. So they do a very good job, I would say. Producers that you talk to and the producers on the floor, there's a whole team. I would say there was probably 45 people across the board from start to finish that we interacted with on set, bringing us in, admin people, taking signatures for the money they were going to give us. Like, it's a massive operation. There's a lot of people that are employed by this show, and they need families to keep it rolling.
Yeah. You said you needed an A-type character to, an A-type person to really take the ball and run with it. But I noticed last night, even when we posted that, that you were coming on and Ryan was coming on, people were like, oh, I know a family that would be good for that. You really do want to be characters by the sounds of it. You really do want to have some different personalities too.
Yeah, well, my cousin Joe, I mentioned him before, love the guy, welder in a potash mine for years. So never been on TV in his life, probably wouldn't be the life of the party if you met him in a backyard somewhere. But just an interesting character, and he's just smart with the way he thinks about things. And Joe ended up being the star of our family, because Jerry D picked right up on it. And he would kind of just pass the baton back and forth to Joe. And there was one moment, I think you can watch it on YouTube if you look it up. I think it's still there. Joe went up to answer the question, and he lost. And in classic Joe fashion, in classic Degenhardt fashion, he reached over, even though we didn't get the question, he reached over to the other team and said, hey, good luck. And he walked back to his podium. And Jerry D stopped the whole thing down, and he said, whoa. You guys just hear what Cousin Joe just did? And everybody stopped. He said, Cousin Joe just wished the other team good luck. He's like, that's pretty amazing, eh? And then Joe, our family is notorious. Weddings, anniversaries, whatever. You give somebody an in, they're going to get on the mic, Kurt. They're going to commandeer the whole show, and that's what Joe started to do. The cameras went to Joe, and Joe went, well, you know what? Jerry, I just love this place. It's been such a great opportunity, and this audience is so good. And before Joe could keep going, Jerry didn't miss a beat. He just yells into his own mic, stares directly at Joe and says, shut up, Joe, and cuts him. And the audience erupts, and Joe's about this small, but we were laughing. I'm getting goosebumps thinking about it right now. And after we were flying home, I'm like, is that going to make that episode? You never know, right? They left it in. That made the episode. And Jerry, like, when you get a host like Jerry, haunched over laughing, like natural, organic laughing, he needed a break. He couldn't keep it together because he just roasted him, man. And we told him afterwards, we're like, Jerry, man, this is just what the Degenhardts do. Sorry, one of us was going to try to take the show over for you. We just, like, give any of us a mic and it's game over. And Joe took that shot and got tossed, but it was amazing.
Which show is that? First, second? Was that the first, second, third?
Third. Sorry, that was the final episode. Final episode.
Yeah. Okay, I got to watch that. I really got to watch that.
Well, and then at the end, so our cousin Lynn, she's the fifth in line. So usually the fifth player doesn't get a lot of podium action. But not to spoil it, we go to sudden death in that episode, and then it's on your fifth. So Lynn goes to the podium. I'm gonna leave it at that for you guys to go watch. But she has her moment in the sun too, and I get goosebumps.
We know she won because you guys played 3 times.
We played 3 times. Right. You put the 2 and 2 together. But so everybody had their little moment, and I wouldn't change it for the world.
Okay, that's awesome. Okay, what do they do? They just give you some food coupons, like some money per day.
Yeah, we've got a per diem, so then you keep your receipts, submit it to CBC, and then they pay you after the fact.
Oh, okay.
So easy. I mean, you upfront the cost, but that's okay. I mean, I think each of us, I don't know what it looks like now, but I think each of us had, say, $100 a day to do whatever we wanted to do. So we would just keep breakfast as simple. Lunch was at CBC, and then we would all go out and have a dinner, and kill the $100 in that one dinner, and
that would be worth it in there.
Have a meal out downtown Toronto, like come on. Yeah. For a prairie kid like me, you don't get opportunities like that. So yeah, they pay you, they put you up, they feed you while you're there. The hotel's covered, flights are covered, everything's covered. They were super accommodating. It was easy. It was so easy. The biggest thing is just making yourself presentable to them to say, we need this family on our show. Because what are they looking for? They're looking for the smoke online. They're looking for good views. They're looking for people to, and I think we did a good job. Because every once in a while, when there's a holiday or an off day, they'll do reruns, and our episodes have been rerun 4 or 5 times.
Oh, that's awesome!
Since we've played, so they'll just go back and pull out a couple of classics, and ours was a classic, I guess.
So they take a pause and they say, "Go change shirts," because we got to make this look like you're coming back the next day.
Well, our first episode was for the Remembrance Day episode, November 11th. So we had poppies on.
Oh yeah.
And then that was the final episode filmed that night. Then we all went home. Then we came back the next day, and then we filmed back to back. So you go for an hour, you dial it up, and then right as soon as you win, it's, okay, 10 minutes, go get some water, bathroom break, and you're back in against a new family.
So you got this here. This is what they give you. Of course, we've all seen that.
That's the classic name tag right there, and that's a little good luck charm for me. I keep it up in my room, so I brought it today because you look at that, and that's special to me. It gives me goosebumps. But I think the aha moment for us, you step onto that set, massive, and that classic, the classic writing, the Family Feud writing, and your last name up on the big screen.
Right.
And you can look up and you say, hey, we did it. And Joe, love him, bring him up a third time. He got to shout out Grandma Annie. I think it was the second episode or the first episode. He just said, hey, we're all doing this for Grandma Ann as she's watching back home. And so that'll forever be immortalized too, and that was cool. But people don't realize, so we filmed this in September. It aired November 11th.
Right.
So we knew as a family that we played 3 games. You come back home, I didn't even tell my wife. Like, you're under strict.
You can't say anything.
You can't say anything. You're on like whether it's Survivor or Jeopardy, Wheel of Fortune, you can't say what happens in the game because it's going to air, and you don't want to blow the roof off the...
You couldn't even tell her?
No, I didn't.
So do they get in touch with you and say, here, your show is airing here, or you just got to watch the show for when it comes up?
Before we left, they said, hey, we have an idea of where it's going to be, because we were wearing the poppies. So we knew that it was going to be, right, we knew that, but without that visual, we wouldn't have known. But then the Family Feud crew, producers, CBC people, they would reach out to you and say, about a month before your show airs, hey, your guys is going to line up on this date. You can start talking to media. Here's some assets that you can use to share on your own socials. Do not tell the results. Do not give anything up, but you can start doing some self-promotion. Yeah, so for 2 months, we just sat and waited.
Did you guys take anybody down there with you, or was it just the 5 cousins
Just
that
the
went?
5. Just the 5. Yeah. That's all that CBC, of course, would fly out, and so some families bring a spare just in case.
Yeah.
Which I think's pretty standard. But we just said, you know what, it's all of us or nothing. If one of us can't do it, then we're all not going to do it, and we just made that pact as a group. And yeah, it was 5 of us.
Biggest takeaways for me, you guys did it for your grandma.
Yeah.
And you guys grew closer from doing this together.
Oh,
You think it would have been the same if you had lost the first game?
No, because we went in going, like, we're already in Toronto. Like, we got to film a Family Feud episode.
Yeah.
Would it have been as epic? No, because we got to do 3 episodes.
Yeah.
Nobody, like, I don't know how many families get to do that. I think the only Mount Everest we didn't climb was winning that Fast Money. But we always bug CBC. We'll tweet them every once in a while and say, hey, if you're looking for redemptions, like the family that killed it but never got to the finish line, like All-Star Family Feud Canada, bring Degenhardt's back, because we want that. We want that smoke. We want that chance at the Fast Money. So who knows? Maybe down the road they'll do some replays and bring some families back. That would be awesome. I'd do it again in a heartbeat. But just the fact that we got there, even if we got smoked, 0 points, I think our family would have been satisfied, because we came with a goal to do it for Grandma Ann. We made it. We did it. We milked every little bit of that moment, and we'll just take it with us for the rest of our lives.
How often do you watch it?
I used to watch it. We would get together and watch it as a family, like once a year or every once in a while.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's on, because it used to be on the app, CBC Gem.
Oh,
but
yeah,
as the seasons come out, they can't keep
So you'd
all
have been
that
season
content.
2?
Season 3, I think we were.
3, okay.
So our episodes aren't there anymore.
Oh, that's too bad.
Yeah, but I mean, there's some moments on YouTube. We recorded, obviously, and kept it on our side in a PVR somewhere. So, yeah, I think once a year we'll get together and watch it and ham it up and have some fun. But when it first came out, yeah, I was downstairs in the basement watching every week, and my wife would be like, oh, this guy again with his, he's living in the past. Your 15 minutes is up, dude. Like, but I would watch and think about all my terrible answers and relive it all over again. Yeah.
So it sounds to me like, Evan, you're telling people, hey, if you're thinking about doing it, absolutely do it. It's worth the, like you said, it's not, it's a little bit of work. It's a little bit of, and did you guys get together and like rehearse? Like, did you get together and like actually play the board game or something like that, or print the questions off online or anything?
Yeah, we did. We bought a Family Feud game, just like cue cards.
Yeah.
And we would so the game was, knowing that we were going to be on the show, we would just call each other up randomly at work, and without even saying hello, we would just ask a Family Feud question. And that person had 5 seconds to try to figure out an answer, and then we'd be like, yeah, no, sorry, survey says that wasn't on there. We just hang up. So we were training as a group, for sure we were. We also watched some old episodes,
right,
and just got dialed in that way. I don't think you have to be the best Family Feud player. I think you have to understand the game a little bit, but I think if you bring the fun and the energy, that will trump your knowledge.
Right.
Because it's a crapshoot anyways. Like, a survey 100 people, the questions are ridiculous, right? Like, it could go either way.
So by the third game, you're like way more relaxed. And
oh yeah, completely.
The lights don't bother you anymore.
No, you almost feel like you're. This is the home now, right?
But like you said, I think you're saying, people, just do it. It's worth every bit of it.
Do it. Put it out there. Go outside your comfort zone. Like, why not? 'Cause you'll be 80, and you'll all be at a family gathering, and your walker's going, I wish we could have done Family Feud.
Or you'll be saying, remember that time
when
we did?
we did Family Feud. Yeah. That's the difference. So I think it's just about, these producers aren't just reaching out. It's not a joke. It's not a hoax. It's not a scam. They genuinely want real people to talk about their lives and represent themselves on this show.
And ham it up a little bit. Do something on your application to get noticed.
Do something. And I think the biggest thing is showcase your family. What makes you stand out? Right? We were a bunch of prairie cousins, first cousins, so they were laughing all day at the big city of Toronto. Oh, look at all these first cousins coming through here, right?
Yeah.
Oh, classic, you got Cousin Joe in here, right? Like, of course there's going to be that Western stereotype, but we owned it, and we showed them that you don't know what it's like to be out west, and we ran the gauntlet with them. So do it. Just do it. Don't even think twice. Tons of options now. I know, Kurt, you have a bunch of probably information for people now through this that people can dive into and go nuts with. Don't sit on it. Go represent Western Canada and go have some fun.
Thanks, Evan.
Yeah, cheers, man.
Thank you. We'll be back with you tomorrow, and we're back here at the Lloydminster Exhibition, and we're going to be talking carbon tax. We have got the mayor joining us. Mayor Albert is going to be joining us to talk about the letter that he wrote to the federal government saying they should pause the carbon tax. We're also going to talk to Jackie Tolmeyer, the general manager of the Lloydminster Exhibition. The carbon tax that they put out is not something they get back, so we'll talk to her. And small business owner Jody Herbis from BioClean Disaster Services is going to be talking to us well about how it's affecting his business and what his rebates are as well, if any. So that's tomorrow morning, 10 o'clock, right here from the new Lloydminster Nissan Exhibition Grill.